everybody, and welcome back to the Live Your Dreams podcast, where we bring you visionaries and dreamers who are shaping the future of storytelling. I am your host, Joe Gawalis, alongside my fantastic co-host.
Here's Victor.
And today's guest, Chris, is someone whose eye for cinematic excellence and passion for championing emergent voices is changing the landscape of independent film. She is a powerhouse producer and the head of production at the Antigravity Academy, and most recently produced Dìdi, the breakout Sundance hit, written and directed by Academy Award nominee Sean Wang, and the film swept both audiences awards and the Special Jury Award for Best Ensemble at Sundance 2024, and was then picked up by Focus Features for a theatrical release. Now, on top of all of that, her credits also include Fremont, which debuted at Sundance 2023 and went on to win the John Cassavetes Award at the 2024 Independent Spirits Awards. So her career began with commercials, music videos, and producing for top brands such as artists as WWE, Kelly Clarkson, and Michael Bublé. And now she is inspiring journeys across our business. I'm telling you, she is truly building the future of cinema. Please welcome the incredibly talented and visionary Valerie Bush to the Live Your Dreams podcast. Valerie, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys. Excited to be here.
Oh, you are really, Valerie, what you have accomplished in your career is truly nothing short of phenomenal. So the thanks all go back to you for spending your time for coming on the show.
I appreciate that, and thanks for the intro.
Listen, that's all you. I mean, all those things you've worked on and accomplished. And again, it's incredible. And we'll get into what you're doing immediately today. But your journey, you started again going, doing commercials and music videos and working for some pretty big brands and then building up brands of your own and getting to Sundance and winning these great awards. It's a fascinating journey you've been on throughout your entire career.
Thank you. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm just keeping my head down and hustling on it, and then you look up and you're like, oh yeah, I did some things.
I love that you said it that way, because so many people are going to be inspired just by those words. Because, like you said, it's a hustle, and then all of a sudden you go, "Wow, look at everything I'm accomplishing," and that's incredible. I'm glad you said it like that, because a lot of listeners are starting off and trying to say, "How do I become somebody like Valerie down the line in my career?"
Yeah, sure.
And
Yeah.
no, and talking about that,
I gotta say something.
please, Chris.
I can't wait to say the name of your company. Does that mean that you don't let anything hold you down? Because I'm always curious the meaning behind things.
Yeah, I mean, my business partner, Carlos Lopez Estrada, he named the company, so I should probably let him speak to it. But I think that we can infer that that's probably part of the meaning.
Awesome.
I love it, Valerie. I'd love to know, because again, you have had such an inspiring journey. I like to always start at the beginning. Take us back, right? What started a young Valerie saying, you know what, I'd love to go down this kind of untraditional path for a lot of people in the stake of kind of career paths and places they want to bring their life. What brought you to say, I want to be a producer and kind of walk into this crazy world we call entertainment?
Yeah, I think that film was always something that was interesting to me, but I don't have, parents that are in the arts at all. So it never even occurred to me that you could make a career out of it. When I started applying to colleges, I was applying as a business major, like everyone else. And I remember my senior year, I was editing a Spanish project, and my classmate was like, "Hey, you're pretty good at that." And I was like, "Oh, interesting." Never really thought about that. And I talk to him all the time, where I'm just that small little moment changed my entire life, of you just complimenting me, and we laugh about it all the time. But so I went into college applying as an editor once I decided that I wanted to find the route into film. But I was editing, fun vacation videos and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I love this. And then I started to edit actual short films in college, and I was like, oh, this is really hard. I was like, this is very different than
Yeah.
applying some vacation footage with some sound, like, um, and I decided I hated it. Like I
Oh
decided
no.
I decided that like I like hated editing altogether. Like props to people that can do it, but like it just like
Yep.
was not my thing once like dialogue came into play. Um and I like had a breakdown because I was like a junior in college, like and I like went to my professor and I was just like, I don't like I feel like I need to like switch majors. Like I feel like this isn't for me, you know? And he was like, well, like slow down. Like there's so much we can do in the film industry. And even then, like I was getting a degree for film and I still didn't know like that there's like hundreds of positions that you can
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And I think that most people don't know that. Like I think that like, the people that are actually in it, sure, but like I think like the general audiences think like the director and that's it,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 100%.
Yeah. And so like he was like, I feel like you should try producing. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, what's producing? Like, yeah.
What does that mean?
Which honestly, like, valid question.
You're right. Yeah, I don't think most people know what that means even today. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Um, and he changed my life. Like he was like, "Well, like let me show you. Let me show you what producing is." Like I was an undergrad at the time, but and like each semester we had to do like one film, but I was like getting on everybody's film that I could. Like I was doing like 5 films a semester, like all the graduate students and stuff and I loved it. I like fell in love with it and honestly, I like didn't really know what I was doing still obviously, but I kind of just like figured it out, which is a
Yeah,
huge
yeah,
thing in
Yeah.
general.
yeah.
Sure.
And then my senior year before like COVID was a thing and like before like remote classes were a thing, I had gotten a job offer up in LA and I lived in San Diego, going to San Diego State at the time. And I told my professors like we have to figure out how I can take this job and like still finish school. Like I don't know, like you guys can figure it out, but
Help
like
me with this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I was like, I'm not like we can I will do all my work, but like my physical being will not be in your classroom. Like kind of like deal with it, you know?
I like that you produced that going on right there. You're like, I'm going to produce this happen. I like that. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And they were super supportive. Like they were like, yeah, like the it's like the reason why you're going to college. Why would we tell you no? You
Exactly.
know?
Yeah.
And so that was a commercial production company that I was a part of, and I was part of it for about a year. A very small company. There was like
Mhm.
5 of us there, which honestly I think was like amazing. Like there's like a couple
Yeah.
different routes that you can go in film where it's like you can do like the small company or you can do like the big corporate studios, and like there's pros and cons to both of them. But like I definitely wouldn't be the producer I am today if I like was at a corporate big studio, you know? I think it just gives you a lot of confidence and independence, like being at a smaller company.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Did you feel like that kind of the hands-on experience you're getting there, right? I'm sure you're in there, you're actually getting to learn and you're getting more day-to-day working at a smaller company. So you're right. I'm sure there's a lot of great pros to that.
You
Yeah,
said
and
it
like
before, 3 words, figure it out. You basically figured it out.
yeah, exactly. And it's like you just like are so in the nitty-gritty with the people that already know what they're doing. So like you're able to like be in the room and not like trying to like listen in from the door. You know what I mean? Um and so like I like got a lot of experience on set with commercials and music videos and I just like uh I ended up leaving. Well, I didn't leave the company. The company went under because it was tiny. And I was forced to freelance, which was like really, really scary.
That's tough as a producer, sure. Yeah, yeah.
Like I like I mean, once you do it, it's fine. But like when you're starting, like freelancing is like so scary, you know? And like I my parents like are not in a place where they could have just like bankrolled my life, you know, like so like obviously like finances were scary too with freelancing because you just never know like when the next one comes and like that's a big deal, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I I got lucky, like I like had a couple producers that like took me under their wing and just like said like freelancing is fine, like stop being scared, like just like come do it, you know? And I just started to like produce bigger and bigger stuff. I think a lot of people like rise the ranks where like, they're starting as an office PA and they rise up producer to a producer role. For me, I like started at the producer role, but I started very small. So like
Mm.
I started with like a $30,000 music video
Yeah.
and then but like, so I never like production coordinated. I never really PM'd like a lot of stuff, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I was able to learn, like with budgets getting bigger and bigger and the problems getting bigger and bigger. Which I think was a really, I mean, I like my path, you know.
I think it's a phenomenal path that you did, and I think it's fascinating that you were able to make those jumps so quickly from doing, $30,000 music videos and moving up. And usually, you're right. I mean, most people go through and they understand the production coordinating, going through the whole ranks and file to get to where you finally are. How do you find your relationship with those people that are in those positions work with you as a producer who didn't go through those ranks? Do you find it that you're understanding their world? Do you have assistants that help you out, kind of communicating with them? Or do you find that you guys just kind of get together like any other office kind of situation? You sit down and you figure out what's necessary to move a production forward.
I think that's a great question. I think that like for the most part, I don't think that anyone would be able to tell that I like didn't rise the ranks. Besides the fact that my PAs actually joke with me about this, and I have no idea how to set up a director's chair.
They should tell. As soon as you start touching equipment, it's over. They know. They know.
Yeah, they're like, stop. Like, I will set up the director's chair. And I love them for it. But so like there's like some moments like that where I'm like a little embarrassed, you know? But I think that like I earned my stripes in a different way, you know,
Sure.
like I went through the like insane, like a $30,000 music video is really hard to do. Like,
I know you're right because you're now understaffed. You have a situation like that. You're 100% right. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's harder than like the $1 million commercials I've done, to be honest.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. Now you don't have enough equipment. You don't have enough people. I'd love to, in your mind, I love that you said that because so many people are probably saying, how do I ever move past it? I love that you said that these starting points may be harder than where you end up down the line.
Totally, because like you have so much more staff working with you, and like, yeah, sure, like you're like when you're on the other side of it, like you're making bigger decisions, which like could have a bigger ripple effect, but like the actual like nitty-gritty work, like yeah, like I slept a lot less like doing a $30,000 music video than like a $1 million commercial, you know? Um, but I mean, so like from there I just started to rise the ranks in the sense of budgets.
Mm.
I remember the first like $2 million union commercial I got, like, offered to do, and I was just like, and that's for, like, a 3-day shoot, you know, so, like, that's, like, a huge budget,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's great. Yeah.
and I was so scared. I was like, "I have no idea how to do this," and I just, like, just did it, you know, and figured it out, but it was really scary for sure, and it's like, that's so much money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's on you, right? You messed this up. That's a lot on your shoulders to handle at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and so I think that, like, from there, I, like, was producing a lot of stuff, like, my friends were, like, aware of what I was doing, and I had gotten a phone call from my friend, who was on an A24 film, and she was like, "Oh, like, we need a production coordinator, like, do you know anybody?" Um, like, they need to, like, fly out in, like, 2 weeks, and I was like, "I'll do it."
Yeah. Of course. Do I know somebody? Come on now.
And she was like, "Wait, like, like, you're a producer," like, and I was like, "No, no, no, I don't care, like, I want to, like, get my foot into the movie space, like, there's no ego here," like, and she was like, "Well, I, like, probably need to, like, convince the line producer that that's okay, because like, he doesn't want anyone stepping on his toes," and I was
Yeah.
like, "No, no, no, like, truly, like, here to learn, like, because like, I'm sure there's differences, you know,
Sure. Yeah.
and yeah, it ended up being, like, one of the most pivotal moments in my career, and, like, I took I think that's important for people understand, like, the importance of that because it's, like, I didn't realize it at the time, but, like, looking back, like, I, like, took a huge pay cut. I, like, made it so I was, like, taking a huge credit downwards, you
Yeah.
know, like, to me, like, like, in my brain, I was like, "Yeah, like, of course I'm gonna do this," you know, but, like, I think a lot of other people might, like, let ego get involved there, and, like, if I would've done that, like, I wouldn't be where I am today, you know?
Yeah, I love that you said that, and it's so important that you said, you saw an opportunity, you were willing to take it. Because 'cause you're right, I mean, going from the bridge of doing commercials in the film, there's so many differences, so taking that step back, a lot of people may have not done that, but you were so forward thinking to see that, "You know what, I do have things to learn in this new medium," even though it's, all creating content. Let's just say that filmmaking is completely different than producing a commercial. I love that you said I will take that step in a coordinated decision and learn and not step on somebody's toes. Because I can see where that producer may be nervous with you coming in there and saying, well, now you have two butting heads. That never works well either.
Yeah, I remember I had to like have a serious conversation with him and convince him I wasn't going to do that,
Okay. Yeah.
and he was awesome, and taught me a ton. Like, cause production's production across the two like platforms and two mediums, but there are like subtle differences of like how
Sure.
to communicate and like what paperwork is done and like things like that, you know? And obviously like you don't have a client, like so like that's nice. At least in the entertainment space. Um, but yeah, I mean, so from there, that line producer ended up getting me the line producer job on Fremont.
Mm,
And then,
Nice.
and then once I did that, Carlos and Sean, who are part of the Dìdi team,
Yep.
they were like, well, we know we want to like shoot this film in Fremont, like who did Fremont? And so like that's how I got
That's
connected
great.
with them.
Great.
Because they were just looking for someone that understood the landscape out there, you know?
Yeah, but now your reputation preceded you, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, and again, look at how you're getting involved with the business. You do Fremont, and it's coming out in Sundance 2023. You get the John Cassavetes Award. That is a way, if you're going to break into the business, I mean, into the film world, what a way to say, hey, here I am. I'm ready to start collaborating
That's
with
awesome.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was a really cool moment because I um I got to go to the Spirit Awards that year under different pretenses. My Carlos took me, my business partner. And so like the whole film team was there and like it was great to be there. And I actually like I honestly had no idea what to expect. I had never been to anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then like when we won that, I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" Because like I was line producing that, and it's like a budget award specifically. So like it was
That's awesome.
There you are. Yeah.
a cool moment, you know.
And that has to come kinda you have to feel like, "You know what? I'm glad that I said I didn't like video editing back in the day," right? I mean, it's like you knew it, you went for it, and it really because so many people don't do that. They may feel like they're not comfortable where they are, and they either keep trudging forward or like you initially said, I'm just gonna do something completely different. They don't realize, like, that when these young kids are coming into the film industry or entertainment industry, video work, there's so many different branches you can get involved with. You can find your space within this craft and still love and create what you wanna do. You don't have to run like, leave and go to a different industry to be in what we do.
Totally. Yeah, and I think that goes for like so many positions. Like I so many of my friends are like in accounting or something and they like hate the accounting they're doing and I'm like come do it in the
Doing
entertainment.
the entertainment is
Like,
you're exactly right. Absolutely.
like, it would be so much more fun to do accounting for like a Marvel movie than like some corporate company that you don't care about. You know what I mean? So it's like why not?
Uh, you're absolutely right, but the funny thing is, unfortunately, nobody goes down. Most regular people don't stay to the, end of the below the line credits, right?
Yeah.
They don't know these positions are in films. People don't understand that it's a whole literal infrastructure and a whole, kind of its own economy within
Yeah.
one film. There are so many positions available, literally in all walks of life. People don't realize that, even electricians and construction workers essentially are, grip scaffers. They can come in and do that here within the entertainment world and have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So much fun. It's way better that way.
I love that you just said it that way. You could tell the second you lit up that you still have fun doing this. And that's what's probably, I like that. You have that passion behind what you're creating here.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's a blast. I mean, like, I remember whenever I like start to complain about my job to my dad, he always like reminds me that, like 5 years ago or whatever, I said I would do it for free. And
Ah, look at you. That now he told you. Good for your dad. Nice job, Dad. I like that.
he
Good
just
for him.
does remember that one conversation. And I was like, you're right, you're right, you're right.
And it's funny because oh, please, Chris, go ahead.
No, I was just actually, I do have a question though. Like, besides before going to college, when you were young, did you think about anything in this realm that this would be a future? Like, what were your
Yeah.
dreams when you were young?
I kind of like I went to the Universal tram tour and it like kind of changed my life. Like it like really like opened up my eyes to like the fact that this could be something, that I'd be interested in. But like I didn't know the path to get there. Like funny enough, for a long time when I was little, I wanted to be a wedding planner, which is
Okay.
like
Oh,
pretty similar to
Similar. I was gonna say, yeah, no, pretty similar path. Yeah.
yeah, so I always like look back on that and I'm like, that's so funny. Like this was always like probably something I was gonna end up doing in one way or another, you know?
interesting.
When you talk about that, you wanted to be a wedding planner. Now you're doing so many amazing projects, and we'll get into what you're doing right now today in a second. But especially for producing, right? There's so many different levels of producers, and there's so many different things that producers do within that one shell of that. Are there any particular, skill sets or mindsets that people who do kind of want to get into the business, young kids that may be going to a film school or for a university that are going to study this business? Is there a certain mindset or certain kind of skill sets you should have when you're considering maybe going down that path of producing?
Yeah, I think that like you said, there's a few different types of producing within like a producing team even. And
Yeah.
you have a Venn diagram, right? Of like you touch every area, but like you definitely are like normally have your specialty. Like for me specifically, like production is my specialty. But like my producing partners, like maybe like sales is their specialty or like raising the financing or like whatever it might be. Um, so I think that like to speak on, like, my side of things specifically, like, if you're like, I'm thinking of, like, how to compare this to, like, someone that's, like, in high school. Like, if you,
Yeah.
like, love, like, organizing plans with your friends and, like, planning parties, like, you probably would like planning a production? And, like, if you, like, love, like, maybe, like, you have a tab at dinner and, like, you have to, like, divide up the tab and, like, that's, like, something that's, like, interesting to you, like, you probably would like budgeting? So it's like
Yeah.
and, like, if you're, like, working at a gym and, like, you love, like, the sales aspect of, like, selling a membership, like, you might like, raising financing and dealing with, like, those types of money people? So it's like I think that, like, those, like, small little things can, like, really translate, and I actually think that that's, like, so important to, like, find those small little things that bring you joy, because if you can find that in a job, like, then you're gonna like your job?
So well said. So well said, really. That's so important because it is those little things, because it's the little things that add up to the entire day. And you're absolutely right. Because if you find joy in doing those things, you're going to find where you belong. Now, we talk about where we belong. Now, 2024, Dìdi goes to Sundance. You do again an amazing job there. You and Sundance just have this symbiotic relationship. Great for you. I love that. And now you hook up, and again, you start working with your team at the Antigravity Academy, and I like that you guys got involved. You built everything up. I'd love to hear about your journey. Again, you said they met you because of the film you did in 2023. I'd love to hear about that next stage of that journey of what kind of brings you to today.
Yeah, I mean, the last, like, I guess it's been, like, a year and a half has been, like, life-changing, really, like, I got on Dìdi and it was just, like it felt right? Like, it felt like it was, like, supposed to happen. I think that, like, all the, like, pivotal moments in my life, like, are decisions that, like, I didn't even really think about, like, they just, like, happened?
Yeah.
It felt right, and so, like, that was Dìdi, like, it definitely felt right, and we were doing production on that, and my, like, head was down focusing on that for, like, 6 months or so, and we had, like, a very fast post-production process, and during the post process is when Carlos had already he founded the company, like, a year prior to that probably, and he had told me, like, "Hey, like, I, like, would love for you to, like, be involved in the company."
Yeah.
And honestly, at that time, like, I wasn't, like I was so used to freelancing that it was like, that's, like, a little scary? Like
Night. Hey, committed. That's it. You're in.
Yeah, exactly, and, like so I was, like, scared to, like, go in-house somewhere, and then it became, like, very obvious very quickly that, like, Carlos didn't, like, want me as an employee, he wanted me as a partner,
Yes.
and, like, that, like, really changed the way I thought about it all, and I was like, "Oh, okay, like, we want to run this business together?" And he brought me in, and now that's what we do, and yeah, so, like, when we were in post-production for Dìdi, like, that kind of all started to happen, and then, um, we ended up going to Sundance, and we won the audience award, and
Nice.
it was crazy.
That's awesome.
I, like
Yeah.
our little group like screamed so loud in that like
Hey,
How could you not?
you have to. Yeah. Yeah.
it was an awesome celebration. And it's funny because I feel like those like award ceremonies is like not the place you're screaming. And like our group is just like so like punk rock and like different than everybody else. But like so it was a really awesome moment. And then, we ended up selling the film to Focus.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
Sean, Carlos, and I like there's a saying at Sundance that like you want to sell your film on the mountain. And like
Sorry. Yeah.
we wanted to take that to the next level, so we decided to go snowboarding when we knew our focus call was gonna be. So we went to the top of the mountain and, we there's like a lodge at the top of the mountain and we like unstrapped our boards and like took the Zoom call in like the snow.
Oh, that's
And
great. Yeah.
and it was like the call that we like sold the film on.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, it was really fun. And yeah, since then, like, the theatrical release happened, and then we got the Spirit Award for Best First Feature this year. And yeah, now I'm running the company with Carlos, and we're in development for our next stuff, and Sean's writing his next piece. So we're excited.
I like that so much, and how you speak about Carlos and Sean, you can tell your eyes light up. I like the relationship you have with them. It really truly shows, and I love the fact that you guys did that. You go on top of the mountain, you're snowboarding, you have that great attitude. You guys seem to be a really great kind of trio. What a unit your eyes are going to be together, and I'm sure it's just going to get bigger and bigger. I'd love to hear now what Anti-Gravity is working on right now. You have so many great projects going on. You have great mission statements. I'd love to kind of hear about your guys' vision. And again, I hope we can talk to Carlos and Sean at a later time because they sound fantastic. But right now, I'd love to hear your kind of perspective of where the business is going to be going, in the next kind of year or two or, 3 in the future.
Yeah, we have this like undenying passion for independent filmmaking, and we really love to make sure that we're taking scripts and stories that make sense for that director to tell. So we are really drawn to writer directors. And Sean really like laid out a path for us that was just our it became like our mission statement in a way, because Sean was just this like guinea pig where he wrote this script that like only he could direct.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
about like him, and it was inspired by him. And we just realized like how strong that magic could be.
Mm.
And we we have other scripts that like maybe stray away from that here and there, of course, but that's really something that like Carlos and I are like extremely excited about, because
Mhm.
you're able to sell the film and the story based on the filmmaker.
That's yeah.
And when you're selling, like, based on the filmmaker, the financiers that rise to the surface with that are like, it's so easy to become like a family with them because they care so much about the filmmaker.
Mm.
That's that's so beautifully said, and I love that you have that kind of mission statement, and I think that's amazing. And really, for somebody like yourself, when you're going now, Carlos approaches you and says, "I have this idea. I want to bring you into this new entity that we're creating," and you're leaving that freelancing world. Was that I mean, I love to hear your mental process saying, "You know what? I'm now taking that leap of faith. I'm partnering up with these two. I'm going to be creating this new entity, and this is the direction I'm taking my life." Were there reservations at first? Was it something that you kind of dove straight into? I'd love to hear that kind of process of how you kind of took that leap of faith of going into this direction.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is scary. Like, I think that but, like, again, what I was saying is, like, I think that every decision that, like, I've made that has felt right, like, I kinda just did it and, like, didn't really think that much about it. And but in parallel, like, at the same time, I was scared. So, like, when I, like,
Yeah.
took that first, like, A24 movie, I knew it was the right thing to do, but I was definitely scared, you
Yeah.
know? So it's or, like, moving to LA, like, same thing. I knew it was the right thing to do, but I was so scared. So I think that's, like, the same situation here. And I think to, like, talk, like, specifically about, like, finances and how to, like, keep yourself afloat, because like, that's, like, very important, and I think there's, like, a lot of smoke and mirrors around it. I'm just the type of person that would rather talk about money. Like, I mean, I'm a producer, so
Yeah.
um,
That's
but
there you go. Yeah.
it's really important 'cause I think that a lot of people that are scared to get into the industry are like, well, how do I make money? You
Yeah.
know, and I think that like for me specifically, like the independent film space, unless you have like a breakout hit, is not gonna like pay your bills for 3 years, you
Yeah.
know? So for me, like going into the company specifically, like that was a big part of it because we're a startup. So it's
Mhm.
not like we could just like support my salary out of the gate. So in between projects, like I still do commercials and music videos and I love it, honestly. Like we're like Sean had a commercial that we did like last month that was like separate from the company.
Yeah.
Uh, and it was for TAF and it was great. And like so like that can like that the paycheck from those types of things can like keep me afloat while I'm like doing my passions. And I like I said, like I only bring that up because I just like really think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors around how people make it happen, you know.
Yeah.
Valerie, thank you so much for saying that because that transparency is going to be huge for people to break in because that's really, I think, so many people have the hesitation, especially now with everything going on in indie world. They don't understand what it is to make a movie, how you survive in the indie world, and you do it. You have to wear a lot of hats. You have to do a lot of projects that may be outside your company. I'm so happy you said that to people that you have to work hard and go in that direction. And it comes down to somebody like yourself. You obviously have a passion for what you do. You're willing to put the time and the work in and that's I mean, I love that you do that. I think it's really fascinating. I'm so thankful that you shared that with our listeners. So important. Thank you.
Yeah, of
What I
course.
really love is that you're showing that you could also have your other job, your side gig could still be within the entertainment industry because there's so many
Yeah,
different parts to it. That's just great.
yeah.
Then your networking, everything else happens there as well.
It also, like you're so right, and I think that, like, it really actually keeps my skills refined because, like, a commercial is, like, a two-week thing, it's really fast,
Yeah.
like, it's not I think over the last year, I was, like, so deep into production and development on films that my production brain kinda started to slow down, and then when, like, Sean brought me this commercial, I was like, "Alright, yeah, like, I need to, like, get on it, like, this
Let's
is
do
fast."
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I, like, love doing them, like, I don't think I'll ever stop doing commercials. Maybe music videos because they're a lot harder,
It's
but
hectic. I mean, that's a lot going on. Not a, that's a commercials. You got the nice client coming in. That there you go. Right. Stick with the commercial world.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I have to say, Valerie, I cannot believe that we've almost been talking for 40 minutes here. You are a fascinating individual. I think what you're doing is fantastic. Now, for our listeners, where can people learn more about you, about, Anti-Gravity Academy? I learned here the social medias, any handles we can look up. Where can people learn about not just yourself, but your business as well?
Yeah, I think that I definitely would wanna plug Anti-Gravity Academy, that it's as simple as that on Instagram, it's just
Okay.
Anti-Gravity. And I think that something that we, like, didn't get to dive super deep into, but I'll just touch on real quick is, like, anti-gravity, we have a ton of incubator programs. It's something that, like, we are really passionate about helping first-time filmmakers. So we have our screenwriters camp, that is an annual program where it's a competitive program where, first-time feature filmmakers can submit a feature-length script.
Oh, it's great.
And we bring them to Lake Arrowhead, and we do a week intensive with, a bunch of mentors and a bunch of, like, one-on-one sessions, and we, like, go through their script, and it's really beautiful. Our 2nd session is, happening in a couple weeks, and we're, like, stoked on it.
Well,
So
Valerie, I think this is so important. Please go into as much detail as you'd like
Yes.
about this because really what you guys are creating here, I love that fact. And the fact that you are paving the way for the next generation of filmmaker is
yeah.
so important. So please be completely open and take as much time as you'd like to talk about this because I think it's phenomenal what you guys are doing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we when we were making the program, something that like was really important was that the qualification had to be first time filmmakers.
Mhm.
Uh, so it's someone that they can have short films on their reels, but they can't have any feature documentation, and we look into it as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Do our background checks on the people. um, but but yeah, it's really a beautiful program, like, we last year's was so lovely, and we had a lot of mentors that, are really renowned in their field, and they're Academy Award winners. Like they're people that like genuinely care, I think is a difference as well, and, like, genuinely, like, can take the time to read the script and then sit with these folks for a couple hours, each day, and, yeah, it's, outside of, like, the actual intensive that we do, like, it's also just, like, a super fun summer camp, like,
Yeah.
we, like, really, like, make it, like, feel like a 6th grade camp that, like, you would go on, you know? It's so cool. Um, and then another program that we have that, is powered by Dolby is it's called our short film studio,
Okay.
and basically it's essentially the same type of program, but a little bit different, where it's a competitive program and people submit, short film scripts under 12 pages.
Okay.
Then we end up picking 3, I hesitate on 3 because last minute Dolby was like, "We'll give you more money and let's do 4 because of
Hey,
the."
good. Hey, look, I love that. What you guys are putting together, and they wanted to move forward like that. That's great.
Yeah. No, Dolby's a great partner, like, they're, like, really in it with all their programs that they sponsor, like, they're not just, like, a vanity credit, you know, so it's like they're awesome,
That's right.
but, yeah, so the once we read all the scripts and whatnot, we select, this year we selected 4, and now we're taking those scripts and we're actually producing them. So that's the difference between the 2 programs is, like, at the end of this, we'll have 4 short films, that not only the filmmakers will get to, like, bring around festivals, but our names are attached to it as well, like, it's an Antigravity Academy production,
Nice.
and we're stoked about it. I'm I don't wanna say for sure, but I'm sure we'll do another one.
Why wouldn't you? I think it's brilliant, and I love the paths that you're laying up that people can come in there, they can kinda do that first time learning, then the ones that wanna take it to the next level can get involved with you guys to the next tier and actually produce something, and you guys are attached to it. But look, I would love the fact if I was a first-time filmmaker, I can get out there and say the team behind me that's teaching me and giving me that kind of boost out into the world has been to Sundance multiple times, Spirit Awards. It's not like you guys are doing this and saying, "Let's give us your name and put our name on something to say that we're taking this for ourselves." To have that anti-gravity name and your team behind them, that is so massive for a first-time filmmaker to have that opportunity. I think that's fantastic you guys are giving that to people.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about it as well. And then the last thing that I'll touch on that we do as well is something called community night. It's about a 4 like 4 times a year and it's essentially just like an open night where people come in and it's we get up to like 500 people that are all like in the film community and uh,
Nice.
there's, like, a lot of little fun activations and stuff, so, like, if someone's, like, not totally sure if they wanna, like, dive head deep into this industry, like, I think that, like, coming to community night is, like, a good taste of it, you know?
I think that's fantastic. I love the community night you guys are building. I love the infrastructure. I love the world, and you are really creating a place for the community and filmmakers to get together and form just your own kind of. It's like you're kind of self becoming your own real studio with building the community up all the way out to getting the films out there. I love what you guys are doing for the future of filmmakers that are in this business.
Thank you, and thanks for having a platform that we can talk about.
No, no, absolutely. Valerie, you are a fantastic and really truly dynamic individual. We'll make sure to have links to all of the descriptions for not only, obviously the Anti-Gravity Academy, but yourself, things you're working on, and all of our links below. As always, you can listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Audible, and you can obviously watch us on YouTube, Red Coral TV now, along with Fossum TV. Valerie Bush, you are fantastic. Literally, I have to thank you so much. You are truly inspiring. I mean, I cannot believe the world you have created, not only for yourself, but now giving that back to filmmakers out there. It's truly inspirational having you on the show. I have to thank you so much.